Good morning, philosophers. Hope you had a great sleep last night. Let's continue. Probably finish the apology, actually. Indeed, it is often obvious in battle that one could escape death by throwing away one's weapons and by turning to supplicate one's pursuers. And there are many ways to avoid death in every kind of danger if one will venture to do or say anything to avoid it. It is not difficult to avoid death, gentlemen. It is much more difficult to avoid wickedness, for it runs faster than death. Slow and elderly as I am, I have been caught up by the slower pursuer, whereas my accusers, being clever and sharp, have been caught by the quicker wickedness. I leave you now condemned to death by you, but they are condemned by truth to wickedness and injustice. So I maintain my assessment, and they maintain theirs. This perhaps had to happen, and I think it is as it should be. Now I want to prophesy. Prophesy? I think that's prophesy. Now I want to prophesy to those who convicted me, for I am at the point when men prophesy most, when they are about to die. I say, gentlemen, to those who voted to kill me, that vengeance will come upon you immediately after my death, a vengeance much harder to bear than that which you took in killing me. You did this in the belief that you would avoid giving an account of your life, but I maintain that quite the opposite will happen to you. There will be more people to test you whom I now held back, but you did not notice it. They will be more difficult to deal with as they will be younger, and you will resent them more. You are wrong if you believe that by killing people you will prevent anyone from reproaching you for not living in the right way. To escape such tests is neither possible nor good, but it is best and easiest not to discredit others, but to prepare oneself to be as good as possible. With this prophecy to you who convicted me, I part from you. I should be glad to discuss what has happened with those who voted for my acquittal during the time that the officers of the court are busy, and I do not yet have to depart to my death. So, gentlemen, stay with me a while, for nothing prevents us from talking to each other while it is allowed. To you as being my friends, I want to show the meaning of what has occurred. A surprising thing has happened to me, jurymen. You I would rightly call jurymen. At all previous times, my familiar prophetic power, my spiritual manifestation, frequently opposed me, even in small matters, when I was about to do something wrong. But now that, as you can see for yourselves, I was faced with what one might think and what is generally thought to be the worst of evils, my divine sign has not opposed me, either when I left home at dawn or when I came into court or at any time that I was about to say something during my speech. Yet in other talks it often held me back in the middle of my speaking, but now it has opposed no word or deed of mine. What do I think is the reason for this? I will tell you. What has happened to me may well be a good thing, and those of us who believe death to be an evil are certainly mistaken. I have convincing proof of this, for it is impossible that my familiar sign did not impose me if I was not about to do what was right. Let us reflect in this way, too, that there is good hope that death is a blessing, for it is one of two things. Either the dead are nothing and have no perception of anything, or it is, as we are told, a change and a relocating for the soul from here to another place. If it is complete lack of perception, like a dreamless sleep, then death would be a great advantage. For I think that if one had to pick out that night during which a man slept soundly and did not dream, put beside it the other nights and days of his life, and then see how many days and nights had been better and more pleasant than that night, not only a private person, but the great king would find them easy to count compared with the other days and nights. If death is like this, I say it is an advantage, for all eternity would then seem to be no more than a single night. If, on the other hand, death is a change from here to another place, and what we are told is true, and all who have died are there, what greater blessing could there be, gentlemen of the jury? If anyone arriving in Hades will have escaped from those who call themselves jurymen here, if anyone arriving in Hades will have escaped from those who call themselves jurymen here, and will find those true jurymen who are said to sit in judgment there, Minos and Rhadamanthus and Acus and Triptolemus, and the other demigods who have been upright in their own life, would that be a poor kind of change? Again, what would one of you give to keep company with Orpheus and Mausaeus, Hesiod and Homer? I am willing to die many times if that's true. It would be a wonderful way for me to spend my time whenever I met Palamedes and Ajax the son of Telamon, and any other of the men of old who died through an unjust conviction, to compare my experience with theirs. I think it would be pleasant. Most important, I could spend my time testing and examining people there, as I do here, as to who among them is wise and who thinks he is, but is not. What would one not give, gentlemen of the jury, for the opportunity to examine the man who led the great expedition against Troy, or Odysseus, or Sisyphus, and innumerable other men and women one could mention? It would be an extraordinary happiness to talk with them, to keep company with them and examine them. In any case, they would certainly not put one to death for doing so. They are happier there than we are here in other respects. And for the rest of time they are deathless, if indeed what we are told is true. You two must be of good hope as regards death, gentlemen of the jury, and keep this one truth in mind, that a good man cannot be harmed either in life or in death, and that his affairs are not neglected by the gods. What has happened to me now has not happened of itself, but it is clear to me that it was better for me to die now and to escape from trouble. That is why my divine sign did not oppose me at any point. So I am certainly not angry with those who convicted me or with my accusers. Of course, that was not their purpose when they accused and convicted me, but they thought they were hurting me, and for this they deserve blame. This much I ask from them. When my sons grow up, avenge yourselves by causing them the same kind of grief that I caused you. If you think they care for money or anything else more than they care for virtue, or if they think they are somebody when they are nobody, reproach them as I reproach you, that they do not care for the right things and think they are worthy when they are not worthy of anything. If you do this, I shall have been justly treated by you and my sons also. Now the hour to part has come. I go to die. You go to live. Which of us goes to the better lot is known to no one except the God. That is the end of the Apology work of Plato. Now the hour to part has come. I go to die. You go to live. Which of us goes to the better lot is unknown to no one except the God. I don't really have anything super wise or pithy to say following that. I think I'm looking forward to reading the next work. It is quite the tragedy. Yesterday I was participating in a friend's going away party, and I was thinking about this story. He's making some life decisions that are very difficult for the sake of his kid, which is, one of the most noblest reasons to make decisions that lead you to uncomfortable places. He did kind of what we talked about yesterday, and again what I'm going to be thinking about today, is he looked at the truth of his situation and the things that stood in his way, that concerned him, that were problems. And rather than dwell on spending days just being upset and angry at them and depressed about them, he realized the truth of his situation, realized what he could change and what he couldn't change, and he made decisions to act in the capacities that he had available to make the situation as good as possible. And in this case, for his children, which is a very noble thing. So, sort of in his honor, I'm going to do the same today. As I go through my day, and as things come to mind that concern me about things going on or problems I have ahead of me, I'm going to take a moment when those things come up in my mind, just a moment, just a minute or two. And I'm going to make sure that my perception of the reality of the situation is as accurate and precise as possible. And so that I can make sure that I'm as aligned with reality as possible, so that I can make sure that I'm not just focusing on the levers that I can't pull, that aren't there to budge. And I'm going to just take a few minutes and just look for the levers that I can pull. This is going to be a repeating theme. Like, if you're expecting some new amazing novel thought every day, that's not how this works for me. And I'm just bringing you along with my morning routine. So this is not for you. This is me time. And oftentimes, until I've got past a mental block, I think about the same things every morning, and this is just part of the process. So yeah, watch these videos if you want, and if you don't like them, don't. That's just how it has to be. But no, I've gotten some feedback the last few days that you guys are enjoying these, and I really appreciate that feedback. So I'm definitely going to continue doing them for a while. Guys, we will begin the next work of Plato tomorrow. Have a great day.